everybody, and welcome to this EDA Summit session. My name is Sean McAllister, and I'm the Chief Technology and Chief Product Officer at Solace. And as you know, Solace hosts the EDA Summit, so we're very happy to have you all here. And today, I happen to be in Madrid, and I'm joined by my friend, Roberto Acevedo, who is going to talk to us about his and JDE's journey in EDA, and I'm joined here with a fancy coffee mug that Roberto has brought, and he can describe the history of this. But Roberto, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, thank you. Well, my name is Roberto Acevedo. I'm happy to be here with you, Sean, and with the audience. Well, I'm originally from Guatemala. I work for JDE, which is the largest coffee and tea company in the world. So you have something from our museum here, which is a really nice coffee mug. I don't know how old it is, but
yeah, that's why I'm trying not to break it.
Yeah, don't break it, please. All of us have to pay for it. But also, you can see some brands of our company here. Some really nice coffee and tea brands. We are the largest pure play coffee and tea company in the world. So I'm pretty sure most of you have tried our coffee and our products. Probably not heard the brand JDE or Peet. But definitely you have tried our products. So watch out and look out for our name in those coffees that you buy here and there. But basically, we started as a coffee company in the Netherlands in 1753. So it's quite an old type of product that we are producing and selling. It's a company that has a lot of history. We also joined forces with Jacobs Coffee from Germany, which was founded in the 1800s. And then recently, we have also joined forces with Peet's Coffee, which was founded in Berkeley, California in the 1960s. And that makes us now the largest coffee and tea company in the world.
Yeah, and quite global, which is excellent. So you guys have lots of integration challenges.
Oh, we do. So, we operate in more than 100 countries. So we do have a lot of challenges, less now more than before. Thankfully to the journey that we've been into.
That's what we'd like to hear.
We'll do that.
Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to discuss in this session. And so we're going to walk through JDE's and Roberto's journey through EDA. And so we're going to talk about the initial problem that they had to solve as to why they introduced EDA in the first place. Then they moved on to a very innovative use case that helped them save a lot of money and be greener and promote and encourage increased customer satisfaction. Then they went off and used EDA to develop a new application, and using EDA increased their agility, reduced the time it took to develop it, and reduce the cost also for this application. So watch this. And then we're going to talk about what you guys have planned next as you keep building more and more use cases on EDA, right? And so before that, maybe Roberto, if you don't mind, could you maybe tell the audience a bit more about your architecture at JDE and the components and what that looks like?
Yes, definitely. So what you can see on the screen is the architecture that we currently have. It might change a little bit here and there in the next couple of months, but basically what you can see is Boomi right there in the middle, and our SAP stack on the left. That's what we had 4 years ago. So we had Boomi and we had SAP. We also had, for example, Seaburger, which was our solution for EDI at the time. It is still, but in a more specialized way, I would say. And what you can see from there is that we have grown in the past 3.5 years to have a much deeper and more wide, let's say, landscape. And in regards to applications, we onboarded Solace 3.5 years ago. We also work now with Splunk for our monitoring solutions. We have onboarded IBM as our API management tool, API Connect. We have now also onboarded OpenText to manage all of our connectivity with customers. And well, what's coming in the near future, we currently have SAP PO, but we're going to be moving into CI very soon. And we're also implementing an MFT solution for factories, which is also going to be then showcased in this diagram, but it's going to be shortly, not now. Cool thing about things that you should know about JDE is we measure our main KPI in cups per second that we serve around the globe. So we serve 4,200 cups of coffee and tea around the globe per second. That's what we need to support with this type of architecture. And it's, well, you can see some facts and figures there about JDE and about our integration platform, but we will not get into those details.
Right. And I'm having one of those cups of coffee right now.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so that's great, Roberto. Thanks for the intro. Now, maybe, why don't we start kind of from the beginning of how JDE started down their path of EDA, because I think you had a particular problem in production, the things that you were dealing with related to volume and stability. And so maybe you could just describe, kind of what that was, what you did, and what the results were. I think people would be quite interested in that.
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, what I'm going to walk you through now is the problems that we were having back then. This is 3.5 years ago.
Yeah, so we're back in 2020.
2020, right? Yeah, or early 2021, I'd say. So I joined JDE in December 2020, so that was early 2021. But the problems the problem that you see here is basically this is how our Boomi managed service looks like. Basically, our capacity was hitting 90 to 100% on a lot of the times.
Yeah, it looks fairly regular, actually, fairly often, right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And what you get with this is a lot of slowness, and you don't have the ability to really process a lot of transactions at the same time. And then what we were dealing with was a lot of different things with delayed shipping or delayed processing of invoices and orders and things like that. And well, most of you might have EDI, right? And we do also a lot of EDI. So we do EDI with a lot of customers worldwide. And all of this was being affected because it was very slow. And it was also affecting the way that we were running our processes with multiple other platforms that we also manage.
Yeah, because I think that's the key thing is you're hitting 100% CPU, which to technologists is a bad thing. But from a business point of view, you had shipping issues and you had purchases that were coming in electronically that you were having problems with, right? Yes. So it was really affecting the business.
Yeah, right? Especially the slowness. It's not that they didn't reach us or the customer, but it was very, very slow.
Yeah.
So what we did at that point was that, well, traditionally what we did was we were doing vertical scaling. And vertical scaling will improve things, but it only gets you so far. So what you see on the right graph now is after a vertical scaling, you can see that it improved. But as with anything with vertical scaling, after a little bit of time, it gets to a point in which you're again in the same place.
Of course, yeah, you just kick the can down the road, really. Yeah.
Correct. So we looked at different solutions, and we loved the solution from Solace. We thought that including Solace and plugging into or in between our processes and doing redefinition of our architecture, it would help us well, fill this void that we had and also fix the problem. And we did just that. So we started doing this project with Solace. We did a fairly nice use case in which we transformed internally our EDI processes into real time with EDA. And we changed also all of our architecture around those processes. We found out that 5 or 6 of those processes were actually the ones creating the biggest bottleneck.
Right.
So we analyzed a lot of data. And with that, we came to the conclusion to do this POC with Solace. We also did it with Boomi because they were also part of the solution as our iPaaS. And once we did that, we noticed the improvement rapidly. So we could probably, we can actually showcase here. What you can see on the graph on the left is that red square, that's how we were doing at the time of the switch. So we were still hitting 90 to 100% a lot of the time. But once we put the new processes in place with Solace in the middle, you can see the green square It's exactly how it looked at right after.
Yeah, much better.
We did have some spikes, but those are regular spikes that you need to fix afterwards.
Right.
But most of the environment was completely stable after that. And what you can see on the right is that after some tweaks that we did with our managed service and some memory usage for Boomi, is that we came to this point in which by 2024, with the same infrastructure, we didn't change infrastructure at all.
Yeah, same as in 2020.
Same in 2020. You can see that we came from that graph on the left that was very busy to a very steady type of approach in 2024. We have increased 9 times the load of our platform. We haven't done hardware upgrades in 4 years. We're going to do a hardware upgrade now, but that's just because we're going to double the size of our events next year. But this is exactly what you get when you redefine or reimagine your integrations. Also implement something like Solace with EDA and unlock the value of what EDA can bring back to your company.
Nice. And so you effectively took integration processes that were synchronous all the way through, decoupled them, made them asynchronous.
Correct.
And you end up in a situation with 9 times the load, same footprint, right? Which is just incredible. And in fact,
correct.
I think we maybe take a few minutes to explain what your Black Friday experience was prior to this, right?
Black Friday was all hands on deck, basically, because it's a lot of traffic. And the first year was exactly that. We needed to do vertical scaling. We needed to be available to support. But now that's fixed. We don't even notice it's Black Friday anymore.
Yeah, and last year we were together at a conference, Solace conference on Black Friday, and you were not worried, right? And so this is amazing, right? And so not only, I guess to your point, so CPUs reduced, you and your team are more relaxed, the business runs more smoothly, and there was no cost increase to the Boomi infrastructure. Right? That's an incredible win.
There was none. Yeah, and exactly, we were last year in Milan in that user group, and we completely forgot that it was Black Friday. So yeah, exactly. That's the peace of mind that we have now with the platform, and it's amazing. Not only for us as, let's say, IT managers or IT developers, but also for a business that the business can rely on us, that things will just run.
That's the key. Yeah, key. Yeah, that's an incredible business win, really, Roberto. That's amazing. But the next thing that you guys did is also quite amazing from an innovation point of view, right? In terms of understanding the power of what EDA can do and how you can, contribute ideas to the business, right? So maybe you want to describe this next use case that you embraced and you took on in your team.
Yeah, sure. So this is what we call the coffee machine care event-driven use case. And a lot of you, of course, use our coffee machines or drink coffee in the mornings or in the afternoons. At any time, or tea. And we have IoT-enabled coffee machines. These are in many different places, from airports to hotels, gas stations, etc., and offices, of course. And what happens if you don't have your coffee?
I get cranky, Roberto.
Yeah, you get a headache, most probably. But then
I am a headache is the problem.
Yeah, but also, if coffee is not being served in the coffee machine, people are not happy. Yeah. Customers are not happy. We are not selling coffee. We're not, getting our money back. And it's important that these machines are operational all of the time. So what we were doing with these coffee machines is, we have IoT sensors, so we're sending those events. Or we were sending those events to different places, but we were not doing anything in real time with them. Right? So it was more towards analysis and the usage of the machines. But what we wanted to do was to introduce real-time events to react to some things. And we noticed that one of the things that we were dealing with was whenever we were having a technician going to an office or a hotel to fix a machine or to give general maintenance to a machine, at some point, these machines were not properly taken care of,
Mm.
or a nozzle would be misaligned, for example, something that would make the machine stop working.
Right, because of the cleaning process.
Because of the cleaning process. And at some point, of course, if the technician leaves, the machine is not operational completely, we will get a call. That call would be, well, taken care of the next day because the technician would not be there anymore.
Right.
So we need to do something in order to fix that, because of course, you're paying more money for a technician to go out to the next day. You're also polluting more. So we have our green targets, and we were not. This was not helping. So we needed to do something about it. So we started capturing all of this data in real time. We put Solace in the middle. We captured all of these IoT events, and with that, we partnered with a vendor to also understand and correlate all of this data to see if the technician was at the location where the machine was broken. And with that, we were able to correlate that data, push a message to our partner, to our vendor, and they would, through the mobile app, run a notification to the technician to say, hey, the machine is broken, please go back and fix it.
Right.
This completely stopped the problems that we were having, where we needed to send a technician the next day. It definitely gave immediate financial impact, on a positive note. We are not sending an expensive engineer days later to fix the machine. We have lower carbon footprint, of course, and that's something that is very important.
Yeah.
We have happy customers, and many other things that happen around this. We keep selling our coffee, and that's what the company is for. But we also are here to make customers happy. And if you don't have your tea and you don't have your coffee, some meetings might not go very well. So I think that's important for us to do. And a very good example of how EDA can help you find those low-hanging fruits, solutions that can help you get results pretty fast to your business.
Yeah, no, it's great. You keep selling coffee, customers are happy. You don't roll trucks and have kind of, green issues. And in terms of saving money, have you kind of quantified, what kind of savings, ballpark, as an example?
Yeah, for example, only for the Netherlands, this is on the hundreds of thousands. So the impact is it's very high. And once we roll this out to multiple locations, it's just going to increase a lot more.
So much more. Yeah. And that's straight bottom line dollars, actually, right? So it's not like you have to, you are selling more, and that's not even included in the business value of this, nor is happy customers, right? That's fantastic. Great use case, Roberto. So then the next use case that you guys took on, right, as systems continue to evolve, right, is that you had an existing order management system that you decided, that you and the business decided needed to be upgraded, right? And so I think it sounds like by this time, the company was very much embracing an EDA approach, a loose coupling type method. You already had event brokers with events flying around, right, as part of your business. And so from there, as you rejuvenated your order management system, you decided to do this in a more decoupled, event-driven manner, right? Can you maybe talk about that?
Right. Yes, of course. Well, what you see on the screen is actually the event portal from Solace. So this is something that we or how we envision things all the time is we start with the event portal, and that's where we basically bundle everything that we're going to do with our solution. And what you see here, some of our tools that were being connected with this new OMS implementation. We did have already a solution in place, of course, that was implemented years back. Something that we needed to replace because we need to scale up. So we're investing a lot on e-commerce, and that was something that we really needed to do. With the solution that we developed, again, sticking to the event portal image, we implemented a solution that was modular, completely modular, completely asynchronous. And by doing this, we also got a lot of reusability, but also we got a lot of, let's say, cost and effort back, because we were implementing or developing this solution in a way that we approach it in a way that it's simple to develop within the integration platform.
Right. And maybe just for those who are not familiar with the event portal, what Roberto is showing here is effectively their system architecture, right? The
Correct.
dark green dots are events, and the others are applications that consume and produce events. And so this is what allows you to understand the overall system and carve it up and reason with it with the rest of your team.
Correct. And this is something that we did alongside our business. So it's not only that we did it in IT, because this is important. It's a joint effort.
Right.
We need to understand from the IT side of things how the business process is built,
Right.
and what those events are. And well, the expert at those are our colleagues from business.
Right.
So they were the ones working alongside with us on this design. The cool thing about it is you can see that since it's all modular, we're actually reaching out in multiple sides of JDE. It's not only about e-commerce, it's also channel management, OMS.
Right.
We're doing logistics with EDI, inventory management.
And the finance guys, they're important.
Finance. Yes, they are there. So
right.
This is something that reaches multiple areas of JDE and operations. And we are pushing these events everywhere with Solace and our iPaaS. Yeah.
Okay.
And what I think something that is very interesting to understand from this is that from the time that we started designing this solution, we knew we were going to take a lot less time than we had done some years back.
The first time, right?
What you can see here as a result is that we did this within 25% of the time. So first time it took us about 6 months. This time it took us about 10 weeks.
10 weeks from 6 months. That's crazy.
It is. And the cost, about 25% of it.
Wow.
Yeah. So the cost was, we saved a lot of money because, of course, by developing these micro integrations, we were able to simplify the process. And we were able to focus on optimizing these integrations to make sure that they were doing exactly what we needed. And we could also isolate a lot more the way that the errors and anything that could be happening with performance.
Yeah, and so you're in this mode where you developed something that, because it was event-driven, like back to the CPU examples, you knew it was going to be robust and performant, and you did it cheaper, and you did it faster for the business.
Correct.
The business must love you, Roberto.
I hope they do. I hope they do, but it is a good use case for them also. I think it saves us a lot of time and money to go with this, and it performs amazingly. So we have been able to now this represents about 30% of our traffic in JDE, and it's just going to continue to grow.
Yeah, and critical to the business,
Correct.
obviously, because if you can't take orders,
and our customers, they need to get their orders right and on time.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And so, Roberto, maybe given that you've done multiple projects right throughout JDE, maybe you could talk for our viewers as to how you got the organization generally on board with EDA, the business, other parts of IT. Like, how did this become so pervasive within JDE?
Yeah, I think that what's important on that, Sean, is that it's not that we as IT own the business processes, right? And we need to understand them very well. And the ones who understand the business processes are, of course, our colleagues from business. So what we did was, we started doing this analysis together. So basically, we modeled our solution based on the events that our business colleagues shared from the business process. That allowed us to really understand what was the flow of events happening, what was the order in which they needed to happen, which ones were not really, let's say, tied to one another, because asynchronously, our life is asynchronous.
Right.
This solution is asynchronous. And the way that they work and we work is exactly the same. So we approach it in a way that we mimic the business, but with an EDA mindset.
Yeah, that's nice. And because at the end of the day, businesses are made up of events that happen. The business understand orders being placed, things being shipped. And so the fact that you can communicate this in an EDA way is great. Plus, I think for you guys, you had a whole bunch of great wins that, the business had to love, right?
Exactly.
That's great. Thanks for Roberto, because a lot of people I'm sure are starting out on their EDA journey, and so kind of finding out how to make this ubiquitous in their enterprise is a key thing. And so now, as our last wrap-up question, now that you've accomplished all of these things and you have an EDA foundation and you have mindshare within the company, what's next for you? That you can build on, that you found that EDA will be useful for.
Yep. So, recently we just also onboarded the automation practice within our COE. So that's going to be something that we are going to be looking forward doing, or taking an EDA type of approach to automation, which we know we can do now. We have the foundation with our hyper integration landscape, so we are ready for it. But most importantly, what we're going to be embracing and testing out in the next few weeks and a couple of months will be our agentic AI approach.
Yeah, so for everybody waiting for us to mention agentic AI, there it is.
There we are. There we are. We got there in the end. But it's basically what we're going to do is we're going to look out. We already have some very nice use cases, but we're going to look out for opportunities where we can replace and mimic some human actions that we can then make an agent do, right? And that is something that is going to be done interacting with Solace, interacting with our iPaaS and other platforms that we have. We look forward to embrace that approach and see how we can improve the performance and the availability of our teams so that they can have time to do more important things than those repetitive tasks that they do.
Right.
In some cases, right?
Yeah, and then given that agentic AI is really best served in an asynchronous way, and that you have all kinds of enterprise information flowing on your event mesh already, then this is just yet another application that you can put onto your event mesh.
It's amazing what you can do once you have the foundation in.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And for those of you watching, in our product update webinar for Solace in November, we had a great demo of agentic AI being supported by our platform. So if you want to check that out, please do go ahead. But with that, we're going to wrap up. And so I think I have to give my mug back to Roberto or he'll be in trouble. Please. But I enjoyed the coffee and I enjoyed our discussion. Thank you, Roberto, for sharing your experience with our audience and helping them learn through your experience. It was really great.
It's a pleasure being here. And I hope that everyone enjoyed the session, enjoyed the EDA Summit. And thank you for having me.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the session and this rest of the summit, everybody.